And we're live.
Hi, folks. I'm Jonathan Askin. I'm a professor at Brooklyn Law School. Welcome to DAZA and the MIT's Legal Hackathon. To me, this is among the most auspicious moments I've had the pleasure to participate in. To me, it's a culmination of so many wonderful things. The fact that MIT itself, probably the world's preeminent university without a law school, is hosting the first bona fide virtual legal hackathon, I think bodes very well for the evolution of law and technology. For a few years, we've been running legal hackathons essentially in physical space with a little bit of a quasi-pretend virtual component to it. And frankly, we've been running legal hackathons to a large extent with lawyers who sort of pretend to be technologists. For me, this is like the great moment where the technologists are invading the law. It's a scary proposition, but I think it's essential. I don't think I need to say much more than that, except to say this may succeed brilliantly. It may fail brilliantly. In either case, I think we should all declare victory today and tomorrow and through Sunday, because we've at least opened up the door and paved the way for the possibility that lawyers and technologists can actually sit down in a virtual room together and hack out meaningful solutions to our problems. It's not just lawyers living in their echo chamber. It's not just technologists saying lawyers are fucked up and working in their echo chamber. It's lawyers and technologists getting together across, at least across the country and a little bit across the Atlantic. Next time, we will bring in Asia, we'll bring in Africa, we'll bring in Australia and South America, and this will become, I think, the global place for lawyers and technologists to collectively resolve our common problems. So with that, I'd love to hand it back to Daza, unless there's anything you think I missed.
That was a remarkable and very auspicious, to use your word, convocation and a commencement of this turning the lights on, shall we say, for this community building method of convening, together across, as you say, different communities online in this hackathon context. And it does hold the promise, as you said. That's what we're aiming to do, is to provide that forum. And so I want to recognize you and thank you, Professor Askin, for basic number one, helping to create the model of what a legal hackathon could be, and prototyping it and honing it with Phil Weiss and others in New York City in an in-person format, which is a very sound way to understand the nature of some things before attempting to extrapolate online. But these types of legal hackathons, I think this may be that online is where it really wants to live, and it is worth, as you say, succeeding or failing brilliantly in that we're attempting to do something that's novel and that we're hoping to learn a lot and to iterate as we go. And so thank you for kicking us off, Jonathan.
Sure.
And also for creating the new broadcast standards, which include all sorts of colorful language and idioms and awesome spicy kind of stuff. So we now have set a tone. And I think it'll be a lot easier to work within that space that's somewhat more personal and informal. And this method, so I wanted to, I guess, say a couple of quick things for everybody. The equivalent of saying at the beginning of a conference, like the bathrooms are over there and lunch is going to be over here, is that to participate, go to legalhackathon.org, where we've attempted to stitch together a series of services and tools that allow for more meaningful participation, engagement, collaboration online. And we've actually published out a little list. You probably can't see it. Okay. Well, there's a list of exactly the steps for to get involved. How to see where the sessions are, how to choose and participate in a session or to propose one in an unconference format, and how to use Google Hangouts so that in the sessions themselves, the individual session topics and will have pages, and you can participate in live dialogue on Google Hangout, and you can also participate with HackPads and with other tools as well. And then finally, a little bit about how to participate asynchronously. So we heard this morning in previews from Ben Wright, for example, and others who are planning to do a flipped classroom kind of method where they've got videos they post-produce in advance, people can watch, and then over time have Q&A and dialogue, some of which could be could happen not in a live setting, but could be added to their pages. So those are that's kind of the basic components and the nature of what we've got together here. And this plenary session is literally for the purpose of number one, doing that walkthrough, and number two, taking a look at the sessions this afternoon to see which ones are ready to happen, and at which time we can hear from the people that will be leading those sessions a few words about what you can expect, and you could ask questions. Just to add more dimensions to the collaboration, we're also following, we mentioned, foreshadowed before, an unconference format. And what that means is it's a particular kind of meeting method. And this format, known as the open space format, allows, or it features every individual participating as the co-creator of the agenda. So rather than publish the conference agenda in advance, what happens is in the beginning of each day, the participants can propose sessions. And they, in the physical space, stand up in a circle usually and say, I'd like to do a session on this topic or that topic. And everyone has a chance to hear what those are and to get a sense of what they might be interested in. And then at the end of that period, people kind of like literally put paper titles with their session on a wall, where you can see on a grid what time is the session and what room is the session, and go to the sessions you're interested in. So they co-create, they emerge their session agenda. I've never been to an online event that has successfully done that, but we're going to experiment with doing that now, over the next few days and the weeks to follow. To do that, we have a link here where you can propose a session. So if you are registered on Eventbrite, and then you can propose a session, and in the forum there's a place to include the title and a description and some other basic information. You can then at the plenary session that precedes the small group breakout sessions and the topic sessions and the collaboration sessions, have your turn to stand up and let people know what it is, or you could even pre-shoot a YouTube video, which we can roll a clip of. You let us know in advance. And then we'll set up a page for you, and you can run a session. And people come to that session. That will be a good session. At the end of the event, we'll have a number of projects and challenges and collaborations that will extend for, in some cases, a couple of weeks, and in some cases, a couple of months. For example, the challenges that you'll hear more about later today that will be posed by our sponsors. And so, yes, we should. And so I'd like to take a moment now to go, I should say, this wouldn't be possible without our sponsors. It wouldn't be possible without Sandy Pentland, the professor here at the Media Lab, under whose group we're doing this. But perhaps more to the point, it wouldn't be possible without, see that person down there on the right, without our star summer intern, Nodder. And so Nodder is just literally holding up like cue cards, sort of like, don't forget to do this, and kind of keeping our production on track. And so I want to make sure that those of you who want to engage more deeply have a chance to see Nodder right here, and they'll be even more accessible than me or others here at MIT when something needs fixing or an answer is urgent. So thank you, Nodder.
Yeah, thank you, Daza. And to any speakers or participants who do want to propose sessions and engage, once we see your session and sort of approve it, this is more directed towards participants. We'll create a WordPress administrator or editor access for you to edit your page and provide the collaboration tools that you want.
Yeah. Yep. So don't be shy. Just fill the form out, and if you do it early enough in the session, we'll come right to it. So with that said, I know that there's going to be some sessions happening today, and I think I see Levon there, whose session may be not today, but I think it's completely fair game if you want to introduce a session tomorrow, today, if that works better, by all means, or just to be with us and to be able to comment as one of our cherished community, kind of like session leaders. So I would like now to turn. So Mark Lazar, if you're there, you're on mute now, and I'm just about to call you out, just so you know. Calling Mark Lazar. So one of the interesting things about this hackathon is that it's by design spanning some of the continents that Jonathan mentioned. And so in Europe, Mark Lazar has been a great collaborator on legal hackathons. We're partnering again on upcoming legal hackathons in July related to data privacy and personal data control. Some of those activities are being kicked off right here in MIT and at this hackathon. So Mark, if you could please, why don't we just start with you? So let us now move to that part of the plenary agenda where we do a roundup of what's happening. And Mark, if you could please come off mute and introduce yourself and let us know about your session, and then also what's to follow.
Hi, Daza. Thank you very much. It's great to be able to participate, especially from so far away. I'm currently, excuse the background noise, I'm currently on public transport in London, which is a feat all in itself. But we're really looking forward to a series of summer events starting with this hackathon. Especially to be a part of this one, we're looking forward to holding a session on Saturday where we're looking at launching the promotion for the Open Data and Data Control Hackathon in July in Berlin, San Francisco, and Tel Aviv, where we're hoping to take the virtual venue from MIT and in collaboration work further on
and Mark, so may I ask, in addition to that, what is the current status of the joint session that we were talking about possibly convening on open notice? I think you had a meetup, and you may have a mini hackathon, or where is that now? And is something happening this week with Open Knowledge Foundation related to these hackathons as well? I think we may have a signal problem. Huh. Sorry, Mark, if you can hear us, you're not quite coming through. Eric, if you're online, may I ask, can you hear Mark, or am I the only one who cannot?
No, I'm having the same trouble you are with your...
Okay. So, Mark, if you can hear us, we're not able to hear you just now. So you might try to get better signal, and we'll come right back to you. Okay. Now, those of you that would like to participate and who are not currently on this Hangout, who are not, who are not participating, so we can hear you and see you. If you can click on the plenary page. So on legalhackathon.org, on the front page there's a link to the plenary session page. Like any other session, it's got a page with a hack pad right in it, and with an opportunity to, if you want to be invited, I'm going to say at the top of the page, I guess, please just say you would like to be invited and include your Google address, and we can go ahead and do that. So, so with that said, Eric, if you're able, following on from Mark Lazar's remarks that hopefully we can fill out shortly on data privacy and open notice projects and the projects around that related to, well, personal data control, really. Eric, if you would be so kind as to introduce yourself and say a few words about your session and the track of dialogues that you're helping us to convene.
Sure, Daza. Happy to do so. And I work with MIT's Kerberos Internet Trust along with Thomas Harjono. And over the last 6 months or so, we've been working with a number of people on a combination of technical and legal methods to improve protection of sensitive data, which would include personal data, and establishing more formally technical means for defining data rights and creating markets for data rights. And part of what we're looking for in this project is to continue the development of the market regime in a legal context, that is, to develop the contracts that would govern the actors in a market for data rights, with the end goal to be able to not just improve data security and privacy, but to unlock the economic value that exists in big data. So that's what we're looking for.
Pretty cool. And so I'd like to be I don't know, I'm almost giddy at the opportunity to announce that one of the follow-on sessions that we've just announced, that we've just confirmed yesterday for the hackathon relates directly to what Eric was talking about in terms of these big data, data-driven architectures and the relationship of personal data to those big data systems. And it's that we'll be having a session on Monday, mid-morning Eastern time, convened by NYU, related to the launch of a book, Big Data Privacy book, where some folks here in the Media Lab have authored one of the chapters. And it's got quite a few chapters with a deep legal analysis of the issues, problems, and the prospects with respect to big data, privacy, and then some of the risk and institutional controls and internal controls and operational risk and transaction risk and other issues that people care about. The session relating to our chapter of that book will be a hangout as part of the series of legal hackathon hangouts. So you'll have an opportunity to hear from the authors and the editors of the book and to pose questions, and we'll vector those questions right into the I think very, very valuable. That book is going to be one of the inputs for future online legal hackathons that will be affiliated with MOOCs and seminars in the future that we'll hear more about shortly. So, very timely topic, and thank you, Eric. Now we're also joined by Ben Wright, who did do a short preview earlier for those of you that that wanted even deeper dive. But Ben has actually produced a 6-part video curriculum series for this legal hangout on a more advanced approach to his primary topic, which he teaches at the Sands Institute and has been a very popular speaker on, an attorney, which is basically you know, the information security and investigations angle, if I'm not mangling that too much, Ben, of data systems and the legal issues and options that relate to that. And so this sort of edgy aspect of that we're experimenting with here as new topic to discuss and to refine is the cloud. Like, what happens when we're doing these forensic investigations where the data isn't even on our servers anymore, which is hard enough to deal with, but where much of the evidence may be in systems of systems of systems that are only very tenuously related to the people who are responsible for the interactions and the transactions and the relationships and the outcomes. Really fascinating topic, and Ben, I can't thank you enough for just the heavy load that you carried to put all of this amazing content together and make it available under free license and freely available to the people in this community. And I can't hardly wait to participate in your sessions and to learn and to help develop the topic. And I want to thank you again for that, and just ask you if you could please say a few words about who you are and kind of what people can expect in these sessions.
I am an attorney in private practice in Dallas, and I teach a 5-day course to professionals at the SANS Institute. It's a very intense group of people who come to these 5-day courses, and I've learned a tremendous amount about all kinds of professionals working for institutions around the world on the difficulties of collecting and managing and authenticating evidence now that evidence is not just digital evidence is not just on hard drives that you control. The evidence is out there in this very complex thing called the cloud. So I've been struggling to keep up with the topic, and I've got a few ideas, but I'm very humble about my thoughts, and I'm very open, very interested in hearing what other smart people think about the topic.
Terrific. Thank you. And so part of what we're doing now too is we're just calling out scheduling, and what will happen after this plenary, based on the forms that we get online, and then also what people call out right now is we'll just do some scheduling so that on our program schedule, which is embedded in legalhackathon.org, and also you can see standalone at legalhackathon.info. You'll be able to see when these sessions are. So let's just confirm, when did you have in mind to convene, let's just say, the first or the next session on that then, so you can pop it on inappropriately.
You're talking to me, Dan?
Yes,
Dan? All I can say is that I'm available today, but I'm not available the Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So I don't know what my schedule is. I guess I'm just available this afternoon.
Okay, and that's great. And we had talked about our mutual desire and intention to, given how much content there is, Ben's will be one of the sessions that we plan to extend well beyond June 15th. So several sessions will, and we have challenges and some other activities that will go there. Mark Lazar's series of hackathons and others. With Ben, I'm going to suggest we take stock, toward the end of the weekend, during the weekend by email, and start to make sure that we've planned out, at least next steps, and people that have expressed interest can, have a sense of how we'll move forward from there. So it's not your last chance, Ben, or those of you that want to engage in this dialogue to catch this now. But I will suggest, Ben, that what we do is we take a little poll to see how many people would be available and interested this afternoon to join a session. And if you've got, it wouldn't take many, I think, at least a few, then let's go ahead and set up a session and go through the first installment of your material. And that would be between 2 and 4 p.m. Eastern Time is the optimal time to do that.
Okay.
Okay. And to do a poll, so how do we do a poll? Well, we've never done a poll before. In fact, we don't even have a poll software. So what we do have is a hackpad. Hackpads are the Swiss Army knives of text. So I would like to request, the productionist, our production arm here, Nodder, could you please at the top of the hackpad write down Ben's session title and just ask for people to put their name down if they're interested in participating, if they're able to participate in that just this afternoon. I already know there's a bunch of people, and I've been keeping the list, and we'll have to figure out how to organize this time, but I've got like at least 10 people that want to participate overall over the course of the next month. But let's see how many want to do it today, and I'd like to suggest that that's an effective way we can begin to gauge interest for sessions now.
So could Nader explain where we go to make this a little more practical?
Nader,
Sorry. What was that?
We've lost the echo. We've lost the audio.
Hey guys. So if you're on the main legalhackathon.org page, you'll see at the very top there's a embedded link, and the sentence is, to participate using HackPad, please refer to the plenary session collaboration page. If you click on that underlined text in green, that should bring you to the actual plenary session page. In there's a HackPad, and I'm gonna post. I'm writing right now Ben's session and the time, and then if you're interested in attending that session, you can sign up there, or at least just note your interest there in attending that session. Are there any? Does anyone have any questions about that?
Is your volume on?
I believe so. Okay, is everyone hearing that, or is my audio? Okay.
Yeah, I heard you. I'm on the page.
Okay, good.
So while we're doing that, let's go down to the next session. First of all, Mark Lazar, are you there? Can we? I'm sorry, Mark. Can we hear you now? Maybe not. Okay, fine. So there's another.
Yeah, you can hear me. I'm here.
Oh, great. Yeah. Hey, Mark. So just to finish up what you were saying, do you want to convene a session today, or when is your next move during this hackathon, kind of leading up to the July hackathon?
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to participating in the hackathon later today. But unable to convene a session due to a few people dropping out to a venue issue. But we do have a great venue for Saturday now, so we can convene a much better session at that point.
Okay. So that's Saturday, you were saying? So Saturday is on?
Yeah, Saturday is definitely on from 10 a.m. New York time to noon. 2 sessions, I believe.
Okay. Great. Okay, so then, to reiterate, to participate in and collaborate with our brothers and sisters overseas, live from London, Mark Lazar is going to be convening some sessions, their meetup group, and some other things in the build-up to Open Knowledge Foundation, OK Fest, and some big privacy-related hackathons in Berlin in July. Those will be joint sessions that will convene on Saturday. So check our schedule for that. Thank you, Mark. Let me just ask, who else is with us now that has a session that they would like to talk about? Or, for that matter, any questions or comments?
Well, I might speak up for a minute.
Great. Hi, Levon. Welcome, and if you could please introduce yourself and do speak up.
Thank you. So I'm Levon Reimer. I used to practice law, so I think I'm kind of unusual in this group. I've left that behind, but I've continued to experiment with web technologies, particularly collaborative types, in areas that are regulated contexts. And so I'm on tomorrow afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and I'm going to talk about the commercial credit space, which is a landscape in which business owners are evaluated for loans, trade credit, and procurement using big data, increasingly using big data, very poorly regulated, and that leaves a lot of room for lack of transparency and fairness. And so what I want to talk about, and hopefully it's going to be a dialogue that will continue over time, is how we can use technology to effectively enable a self-regulating community to form that includes business owners and their creditors.
Okay, and so thank you, Levon. And that something that maybe not have been clear, but I'll take the liberty of bringing it out, is that there's a connection between what you're talking about and what Eric Skase is talking about.
Yeah.
And so we convened some preliminary kind of cross-session, exploratory discussions over the last week or so, and it looks like any folks interested in either of those sessions, number one, should consider going to the other, and number two, there may be a joint session in the offing, so we'll see how that comes together.
Great.
And your session tomorrow would be then 2 to 4 p.m., yes?
So I think it's scheduled for the 2:30. So Eric and et al. Are going to be on at 2, I understand, or like right before me. Anyway, yeah, we're hoping to coordinate the scheduling of that to make sure that we're back to back. And then they're going first as having done broader research where I've been tinkering with the last 5 years really for a very specific use case, which is, albeit a huge market, but it's a specific use case of business owners accessing credit, capital, and commercial opportunity.
Yeah, it really is.
Where data plays big and regulations are incomplete, but you know, it plays into a lot of the very recent investigations by FTC and the White House on data brokers.
Yeah, it's really it's the center of so many important issues, and there's so it sometimes feels there's few options, and yet you know you participate in federated identity circles with Don Thibault and the Attribute Exchange Network, also with Intel, and with the great things happening in Davos and the personal data ecology meetings that our professor Pentland is a leader in as well. And you know, we're tuned into some of the most promising source points, the points of source or origin for what could be a successful solution. And so, really exciting. And thank you again for just your time here and being available to share and to lead. And so let us move on. Is anybody else online who would be offering a session today and like to say a few words about that? And that when I say online, I guess on the Hangout and or in our HackPad, which we're monitoring. Anything? May I request that you take a look quickly at the form, the question form? Yeah. We'll check the form as well, which is another way people that are, if you're completely confused, click on the FAQ on the upper right of legalhackathon.org and tell us about it. Ask the question, make the complaint, vent your spleen. It's a hearty form, and like all comers are welcome. And so like that's the escape button right there. Like that's the emergency button. Break the glass, click the button. It's FAQ in the upper right. We don't have any frequently asked questions. We don't have hardly any questions yet. We just started, but then we'll get questions there. We'll answer questions there, and maybe we'll call it something other than FAQ. So there's nothing yet. That's great. Okay. So hey, we can end the plenary a little bit early, potentially, and then we're going to start with the sessions today at 2 p.m. Eastern Time. And again, the method is that go to the front page of legalhackathon.org, where there'll be conspicuous links to our program schedule, and where every session will have a an item in that snazzy schedule thing, which thanks to Jonathan Askin actually for indirectly introducing me to sketch.org, which we're using. You can click on the little colored button there for the events and see description. You see what the timing is, if it's at a half hour or something, and a link to its page. All the action is on the page. So we go to the blog page. We have the hack pads. We've got Google Hangouts. We've got links to deeper information. We've got it all. We've got incoming calls, and so I think that are we ready to wrap? Is there anything else that we need? Yeah, why don't we just do a round of any questions, comments, I don't know, invocations, funny faces.
I want to say one thing. This is way better than when we had, the last time I had a bunch of lawyers trying to communicate via fax. So you're taking it, you have definitely made a big leap forward, even with the periodic broadband internet interference.
Oh, thank you, Jonathan. That means a lot, a heck of a lot. So thank you for that initial feedback, and let us continue the assessment. The good, bad, and the otherwise is how I'll put it, as we go. So we can calibrate. And so we're about to go into, oh, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to say something. Excuse me. So there's a session that I will announce, and I'm co-leading with the, get this, the Uniform Law Commissioners, like Nakuzel, the good people that brought us the Uniform Commercial Code and other big hits, are collaborating now in an exploratory initial way with our research group here, the legal research team, we call it, the legal physics research team in the Media Lab, to do data analytics on their statutes, looking at statistical modeling of propagation of adoption through the states, for example, and we'll be doing some natural language analysis, and we'll be doing some markup as well. We've already had one volunteer mark up the Uniform Electronic Legal Materials Act in a very interesting kind of semantic markup language that he's just testing out, and we'll be doing some other great things. And so that'll be from 2:30 p.m. to 3:30 p.m. today, and we'll be featuring some of the brilliant data scientists of the Human Dynamics group here at the Media Lab, and the president of the National Conference of Commissioners on Uniform State Law, and some of their able commissioners who are been taking leads, as well as their legislative director. And so check the schedule, click on that for all the details, and come on by and participate live. Also feel free to give us your questions remotely, and we'll cycle them in. And that we'll be touching base with them again in about 2 weeks, so that people have time to think about what's been said, compose questions or comments or ideas, and then we'll address them in a couple of weeks on a follow-on hangout for people that are interested. So that's uniform law and data analytics, and I don't know, and looking at the possibilities of using data science directly on the law as data. So okay, so with that, last call for questions, comments. Yeah. Going once.
Or potential sessions.
Oh yeah, or sessions. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone that wants to propose a session.
Yeah. So hearing none, then
I have a quick question for you.
Great. Yeah. Could you please introduce yourself?
Hi guys.
And,
I'm Jared Brenner. I'm a student at Brooklyn Law School. I'm one of Jonathan Askin's students. I put in a request to do a session.
Somebody introduce
a brainstorming session.
I might add. Pardon me for interrupting, but I have to just say I walked into a building in Brooklyn like scared practically with like another person from the Media Lab, and then you're one of the first people I met, and you're just so gracious and friendly, and you sort of said what was going on, and I thank you. And so I'm very grateful that you're here to help us kick things off up in cyberspace and in New England. So I apologize for interrupting, but yeah, please, what was there was a task item or something?
No, it's my pleasure, and it was great working with you last time. I hope we can do it again this time. I put in a request through the Google form for like a brainstorming session. I really just want to run a Google Hangout with anybody who might be interested in brainstorming solutions for a project I've just started at Brooklyn Law School. It's essentially we're developing a wiki site for pretty much all of the policy issues that could be discussed at a hackathon like this. Areas where the law needs to be updated, to meet the needs of the ventures that we deal with and that everybody seems to want to be dealing with. The project's really at its earliest stages, and I have some students doing research on different legal problems that we could write the early wiki pages about. But you guys are the real experts, and I need some help figuring out the top-level organization of the site. That's what I'd love to discuss if there are any lawyers who might want to get involved in it. And I can give more information to anybody who's interested.
That's cool. First of all, could we trouble you to copy and paste that description into the hackpad, please?
Oh, sure.
And then let's give people an opportunity to express. Sorry, just a second. Let's give people an opportunity to express whether they're interested. If there's enough people today, we'll go ahead and put it on. And if there aren't, then
I would very much prefer to do it tomorrow if it's at all possible, because I'm
good. Okay,
right now.
Even better. Yeah. So we'll aim for tomorrow, and we'll have time to promote it better and to invite people, and we'll tend to give you a page to start pumping around. And please be ready to be at the plenary tomorrow to stand up and announce what your session is so people can ask questions and join, okay?
Sure. When is that going to be happening?
Same bat time, same bat channel. So it's they're going to be tomorrow at 1:30 to 2-ish.
Okay.
Then the sessions are between 2 and 4.
Excellent.
Okay, awesome. That was a total success. That's what we wanted to
Plenary
happen.
session hackpad is where I'm copying this.
Come again?
The day one plenary session hackpad is where I'm copying in all this information, right?
Absolutely perfect. Yep. Yes,
Okay.
please do. And that was a complete success. Like you have now manifested the dream. We didn't know you were coming. We didn't bake a cake, but we did create a hackpad, and then you proposed a session, and now it's going to be manifest. So shall it be done. So thank you for being willing to play along, and I'll come to that session.
Great.
Okay, awesome. All right then. So anything else before we sign off? Okay, hearing nothing. Jonathan, would you do us the honor, please, of closing this inaugural session of the plenary for the online legal hackathon, and then let people know that we're reconvening in individual sessions starting at 2 p.m., please.
It's 2:12 already, Daza. You realize that, don't you?
No, I totally didn't. I misread the clock there, so that's bad.
So everyone, we're reconvening 12 minutes ago.
I want to nominate you for chairman. Why don't you take over?
What I want to do is, who's going to work on the time travel app so we can actually go back in time 13 minutes and reconvene it too? Daza, you're a most gracious host. I'm hopeful to see you in physical space tomorrow. For now, this was more successful than I could have ever imagined. So great job.
Thank you. And we stand adjourned momentarily, and so sessions will be popping up instantaneously. And thank you all, and please come to the wrap-up at the end of the day for the Clio Challenge and the Case Text Challenge. Cash prize in your pocket. So they'll be making those challenges at the end of the day today. So you can find out.
Daza, will we get Hangout invites to those, or do we check in through the schedule?
Check the schedule, but everyone will also have a Hangout invite because we're just doing blanket invites to every plenary.
Good.
Awesome. Thanks again, and see you soon. Bye now.